All right, cool. So Joseph, welcome in. Everybody watching right now, this is another student interview with Joseph. I'm going to have him do a quick intro for himself right now. That way he can just explain to everybody who he is and why he joined Boss. So yeah, Joseph, just give us like a quick background, like introduce yourself to everybody. Tell us about yourself, what got you into SMMA and why you decided to go for my coaching.
Well, I started working on marketing like for around 1 year and a half already. Yeah, I just got pretty excited about like the agency model, like all the business. I was in another kind of program before, and it's where I saw you. Well, after that, I just joined the boss program because I felt that the part that I was lacking the most, it was the sales part. The boss program really helped me to become better at sales and like really build a sales system that is going to predictably give me clients with a client acquisition funnel and like pretty much all the step by step to acquire new clients. So yeah, definitely pretty happy with the experience.
Okay, great. And then let's talk about results too. So let everybody know like what you got out of the coaching and the results that you got from the coaching.
So yeah, as I mentioned, like pretty much the client acquisition funnel, like way for my business, it started working so good so far. Already land one client, and yeah, it took me about 5 weeks, I think, like to master like pretty much all the details and steps on the process. And yeah, like this client I land was in 3 days, like the first call, sales call, and then two follow-ups, and yeah, that was it.
Okay, so let's kind of clarify here. So you're saying it took you 3 days from start to finish to close your first deal, right?
Yeah, like the first touch point with the client.
But it didn't start like that too, right? Like kind of tell us like how long from the start till you got your first client, how long did it take and why it took that long?
Well, I think that it was because it was a challenge, like every step on the process. Like the first, doing the cold calling, it was like a challenge for me because I never did something like that. So I was nervous, and yeah, like thanks to the coaching, I just kind of sorted out. And after it was like the second call, the follow-up call, like people were telling me like they were not interested or like just hanging up on me. So that was, another like challenge. And after it was just refining the process of until getting like like the amount of sales calls that allow me to practice that part of the sales and now to the closing. Since I think I passed through all these steps, I am able like right now to hire an appointment setter, which is what I'm doing right now. Because yeah, I mean, like when you actually understand all the steps in the process is when you are able to teach and replicate the system.
That's interesting what you just said, because a lot of people watching are having the same issues, right? Like imagine, like before you started the coaching, like you saw my interviews, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So think about this too, like people who are watching this interview, what changed? Like why were you able to get clients after the coaching but not before? Because a lot of people watching the interview, they're going to say like, oh, well, he did the coaching, and people just sometimes think there's something extra that we're not teaching on YouTube for free. Like what is changed now from before the coaching to getting your first client? Like what do you know now that allowed you to get your first client?
I definitely was in like as well the community, as like a lot of your help in the coaching process, that you really helped me like overcome all those obstacles that I found along the way, in the cold calling as well, in the follow-up as well, in the sales calls, that where right now I'm getting better and better every time after each sales call. And yeah, pretty much just refining the process. I mean, it took long because it was like learning from zero, because like in other programs what you learn is pretty much the fulfillment and like the psychology behind like what's the social media agency, but not much focus on the client acquisition part, side running running ads, or perhaps in cold emailing or stuff like that actually don't get you the skin that you need when you're talking to people. So that's where I think that cold calling actually really help you to dominate that part of just start talking to people, and you start just feeling more confident. So each step of the process, you just start feeling more and more comfortable.
Yeah. And I think actually for a lot of people, like coaches, I mean, like other gurus out there, right? I think it's very hard for them to kind of teach client acquisition because at some point, like you need skill. Like it's almost, it's kind of impossible, I guess you could say, to teach somebody sales, right? Because a lot of it is like, it has to do with like communication, which you can teach, but it's not as easy to learn as like the actual fulfillment, like you're saying. So like a lot of courses that I've taken too, because before I started SMMA, I was just like everybody watching this video, like, you know, like a lot of, for the people who are just getting started, maybe they're interested, they don't really know what to expect, and a lot of people focus on like fulfillment, like you're saying, like not actually like client acquisition, which is my forte. You know, I've always said from the beginning, like sales is the whole reason why I was able to start SMMA. I just already had those skills in place, and after networking with quite a lot of agency owners, I noticed a pattern. Like either they're very good at fulfillment or they're very good at client acquisition. So like one or the other. For me, I'm very good at acquiring clients, and I think that's kind of one of the biggest reasons why people are interested in my videos, because they see, you know, they see the cold calls, they see people getting interested, they see the sales calls. So for somebody just starting, like what would you say to them? For somebody who started where you were, you know, they're trying to get their first client, they don't really know what to do, what would you say to those people?
Well, I think that the most important part actually of any business is the client acquisition, because that's the fuel that is going to boost your business like way ahead of your competitors or whatever. It is not necessary to have sales skill background, neither like too much knowledge about marketing. Like what you actually need is like the willpower to, every time that you find an obstacle doing cold calling, or like in every obstacle that you face along the way, just face it, you know, you just go ahead it and kind of trust the process, because eventually you will master every single step of, you know, along the way. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you're from. Like I'm not even from the US and I have an accent, and still I was able to do it. So I would say that the most important part is actually your desire to make it happen, and you will do it.
Okay, it's very important what you just said right there, Joseph. A lot of people in my comments, you can all go to my YouTube videos and watch, like especially my cold calling videos, people ask, hey, I'm from another country, can I still get clients? Like, of course. Of course you can. If you master communication, you will always be able to get clients. Yeah, that's very important too, for people to understand, like there's nothing special. You know, that's my whole point. Like as long as you can get through those obstacles, you can do anything. Focus on one thing at a time. And that's how I've always structured my coaching. You know, it's like I start somebody from coaching. Hey, how do I do Facebook ads? Wait a second, hold on. Let's start here. You know, let's start with the foundations. Let's pick your niche. Let's pick your offer. Okay, that's only going to take like 1 to 2 hours of your time. Then let's focus on prospecting. How do we get people interested? How do we consistently get people in our pipeline who could, you know, close a deal? And then once we get there, okay, now that we're getting people interested, how do we convert those people into clients?
Yeah.
Now we're getting clients. How do we, right? So
It
one step
was
at a time.
it was
Master one
like
thing.
that actually, because in a coaching that I we were together, I asked you that, like, how about the fulfillment, and how about this, and how do you make the invoice and all this stuff, and I was not even cold calling yet. So yeah, you said that to me, like, let's start focusing first on, you know, like doing this. At that moment, you just, I mean, I saw everything, like I wanted to understand the whole picture, and you kind of explain it to me. But yeah, it's very important just to start with the basics, because each step of the process has a, let's say, a little challenge in it. So yeah, that's very important too.
What would you say is the hardest thing about getting clients for you? Like, what was the hardest part about getting your first client?
I would say it's just commitment, like consistency in what you're doing. I really remember one of the videos inside the coaching program that is getting 1% better every day. I got that so much into me, and I just started like first day just kind of losing the fear to cold call, and after that it was just training a rebuttal, like one rebuttal each day. So yeah, it was like a process of getting 1% better every day. And yeah, by the second week I was already setting appointments, create a process in the one that you are growing, like from less to, you know, like to your highest level. Yeah, I mean, try to start from the beginnings, understanding like all the basics, and just don't jump like from one part to other, like before you understand, I mean, before you understand like what's prior to that.
Let's kind of talk about that a little bit. You're saying that the commitment, just staying accountable every day, was harder than cold calling.
Yeah, actually, because I mean, cold calling, like every time, the first week, every time I was going to cold call, it was like procrastinating, like I don't want to do it. But I knew that the only way to get good at something is by doing it. Like there is no other way, you know, you can read books, you can take courses, you can like go to hundreds of coaching. But if you don't take action in what you need to start doing, like it won't work. So Yeah, it was actually, I think it's the consistency, the hardest part. And I know because I saw inside the coaching that actually just start cold calling, and like by the second week, I didn't see them anymore. You just need to put your skin there and just try to get it done. You know, like it's consistency even more. So just have that willpower to overcome those obstacles and just keep going.
Okay, so listen to that, guys. Like he said, like commitment is the hardest part. It's really true. It's about your mindset. And that sounds so cringe. I know it's cringe.
Yeah.
Once you understand it truly, like you go through it and you understand, it's like, wow, like it's true. Like he just said right now, the commitment was harder than the cold calls. The commitment is harder than the sales calls. The commitment is harder than anything. That's something that I had a hard time doing too. For those of you who've been following me for a long time, when I did my first interview like this with Jordan Lee, I told him the same thing. I was like, I thought $10,000 would be the hardest thing to do in my life. The hardest thing really, in reality, was my mindset. Just
Yeah.
staying accountable, staying positive, sticking to it every single day. So I love that. But yeah, it's an important thing to talk about. So I appreciate that. So cool. Let's just kind of give our last thoughts on this. So is there anything else again that you want to say to anybody watching the video? Perhaps maybe saying something to somebody who wants to maybe try the coaching, right? What do you say to those people who want to get started?
I mean, if you are the kind of person that would like to take action, and like if you are not, let's say, with the decision yet because you don't know if it is going to happen, like the only person that is holding you back is you. Absolutely, outside or inside the coaching, you will be the one that is going to make it happen. Actually, you know, if you're consistent, if you stick to the plan, if you stick to the long process, that is not that long, but it seems too long because you are just mastering one skill after other. Definitely, you're gonna do it. So, I mean, I don't think that a person should have any kind of background or like a special skill like to in order to do this. It's just a matter of willpower and consistency in what you're doing.
I appreciate that. There you have it. Again, another student got some results for you guys. So just wanted to share. And actually, I didn't even ask for Joseph for the interview this time. He's like, hey, let's do an interview. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
let's.
I was so grateful because I just closed that client and I couldn't believe it, man. Like I drank a whiskey and I was like, seriously, like she just paid the invoice. I was like, hell, that's crazy. So yeah, as soon as I got the chance, I wanted to tell you that, yeah, I wanted to, you know, like really thanks. I really feel that you really helped me where I feel that I was lacking, let's say skills, that it was like the sales part and just creating a client acquisition funnel. Yeah, I'm able to get, you know, where I want to be.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you for doing the interview again. So everybody watching, thank you guys so much. Again, if you guys want to reach out to Joseph and confirm, Joseph, where can they find you?
Instagram is _ Gomez. That's my last name. .png. That's my Instagram, or like also in LinkedIn, just Gomez. So feel free to reach out to me for any question.
All right, sounds good. Well, Joseph, thank you so much for doing the interview again, and thank you guys for watching.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, cool.